The Golden Valley Police Chief calls staffing shortages a concern. Reporter Sonia Goins shows us what's being done to resolve the declining numbers and how it could impact community services.
Like many police departments across the country, Golden Valley is struggling with staffing issues.
It's a concern. I'm not going to say critical.
The Minnesota Board of Peace Officers Standards and Training shows the Golden Valley Police Department with 21 active primary officers, but the city is budgeted for 31. And in July, the police department is expected to lose 4 more staff members.
And I don't want anybody to be concerned that because of those numbers that the department is not able to provide the service of calls that we receive.
The Law Enforcement Labor Services Union, which represents Golden Valley, says officers are weary and worn out.
Anybody that has almost a 50% reduction in staff is going to be burned out with having to fill vacated shifts.
Jim Bordenson is worried that there could be bigger problems if the staffing shortages aren't rectified soon.
You're going to see calls that go up and you're not going to have the officers there to respond.
We're still meeting the needs of the citizens of Golden Valley.
Officials say that there are several reasons for the staffing shortages, including retirements and people leaving the profession altogether. Meanwhile, union officials say part of the problem is with internal issues.
They're having issues with the leadership there within the city and in the organization, and it's causing staff to pack up their bags and move to a different department.
I would know what the union person is talking about, internal issues.
Earlier this month, the city came up with a plan to work with the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office to pick up the slack.
That agreement is still in the final stages of being implemented.
In the meantime, the city is looking for some high-quality candidates.
We are actively recruiting.
In Golden Valley, Sonia Goins, CCX News.
Golden Valley is also in the process of hiring 4 additional police recruits. They're expected to go through training soon. Jury selection begins this week in the trial of a Chicago man accused of shooting and killing a youth baseball coach on Highway 169 in Plymouth. Jamal Smith is charged with first-degree murder. According to investigators, Smith was driving when he allegedly fired and struck Jay Boughton in the head as they traveled on southbound 169 last year. Plymouth police described the incident as a traffic altercation that escalated quickly. Boughton's car went off the road and through a fence before crashing into parked cars at an apartment complex. His 15-year-old son was in the passenger seat and called 911. Boughton was a coach with the Armstrong Cooper Youth Baseball Association, and the organization honored him back in May. In a previous court hearing, the defendant claimed it was a passenger in Smith's rented SUV who fired the fatal shot. Smith has remained in the Hennepin County Jail ever since he was transported there following his arrest last August in Illinois. A Brooklyn Park family has been displaced after a fire broke out in the basement of their home Sunday evening. Firefighters were called to this home on the 8,000 block of Morgan Circle North around 8:30 Sunday night. Investigators say the fire started in the basement utility room, which contained gas-fed appliances that likely helped the fire spread. Firefighters from Brooklyn Park and several other agencies needed about 2 hours to get the fire under control. A couple, their baby, and the family dog escaped without injuries.
Had this occurred at a different time of day, maybe when someone was sleeping, they may have needed rescue through a window instead of just being able to self-evacuate. So we're very fortunate that the homeowner was there when it happened and that the time of day.
Investigators haven't determined a cause yet. The Animal Humane Society received a gift of $6 million, the largest in the history of the Golden Valley-based organization. The gift is from the estate of 2 longtime volunteers. Most of the money will be used to refurbish a St. Paul warehouse that could become its primary location. In addition to a shelter and adoption spaces, the new facility could include amenities like an amphitheater and an agility course for pet training. When the new facility opens, the Animal Humane Society says it may repurpose some of the current locations.
I suspect there'll be a lot more veterinary services in our current facilities so that community members don't have to travel as far to get that sort of service. Maybe the camps that we already run, really looking at what programming should live in those communities and then what programming will be the focus of this new facility. But I want to make sure that people hear that we will always do adoption.
Right now, the plan is to break ground on the new facility in 2024. You can think about a new art adventure like a scavenger hunt. Local artist Adam Turbin has 10 characters scattered in Golden Valley and St. Louis Park that encourage you to explore and get deals at locally owned businesses. Photojournalist Dustin Scholl takes us on this art venture.
This is part of Artventure. We are in Golden Valley Commons right now in Golden Valley. This is Hot Dish Girl. This is a character that I made up that is kind of a mashup between Marjorie Johnson and Betty Crocker. So like iconic Minnesota female figures who are awesome. Artventure has a total of 10 characters, 3 of which are in Golden Valley and 7 are in St. Louis Park. I really try to have fun with the idea of where I live. I love where I live, and I love St. Louis Park, and I love Golden Valley. I like to call it deep local. I'm taking a little bit more of what the locals really know about the area or iconic things in Minnesota, and I'm expanding on those things. Each one of these cutouts has a QR code. The QR code goes to a schedule of events and cool things that are happening around the area. And here it is. So we're in Golden Valley Center. It talks a little bit about what's going on with her and then just different things that are happening throughout Golden Valley Commons. There are shops that have given gift cards and things like that to win, along with my art too. So you can win a pretty cool prize pack.
It was one last weekend to compete as high school athletes. The annual Play Ball Minnesota All-Star Baseball Series brought together many of the best seniors from the class of 2022 for a weekend of competition. Metro North versus Metro West, and the Metro North starting lineup includes Maple Grove pitcher Aiden Hansen, Crimson catcher Chayton Fisher, Osseo first baseman Matthew Kitzman, Blake Iverson of Park Center at second base, and Tutino Gray shortstop Brennan Blake. To the highlights, top of the first inning, Fisher lines a single into center field. Kyle Law of Andover comes in to score as Metro North puts up 2 runs in the top of the first. Bottom one, North almost turns 2. The ground ball to Kitzman at first, who throws to Blake at second for the out. But the return throw to Kitzman is too late to get Tyler Von Bank of Mound West Tonka. Caden Amundsen of STMA scores, and it's 2-1 after 1. In the third, Hansen works out of trouble getting a called third strike to end the inning. He allows just 1 earned run in 3 innings of work. Big 5th inning for Metro West. Hunter Palmer of STMA singles to right field. Kyle Vidson of Jordan scores to put West ahead 4-2. They'd add 6 more runs in the inning. Fisher drives one over the fence in right center field for a solo home run leading off the 6th inning for his 2nd hit and RBI of the day. Later in the 6th, Aaron Smith of St. Francis delivers a hit into the gap in left center. Blake of Tutino Grace having a little fun live on Instagram at the time, scores. And while Metro North loses the game 12-5 and finishes the tournament with a 1-3 record, it was a fun experience for the local guys.
Oh, it's been a great weekend. I got to meet Bert Y11 on the first day. That was great. It's really high level competitive baseball, and it's a lot of fun. So yeah, meeting a lot of new guys.
We got every high school's guy. Like, we're playing everybody's best. So, that's a challenge, and I love it. And it's fun. It really steps up the game, and it gets us going.
I really enjoyed representing Osseo. It's an honor. Past couple years, I don't know if we've had anyone really, so to get to be a part of that, to represent Osseo is great.
It's been what I expected. Everyone knows that it's a good time, and it's a lot of fun to be with all my buddies and these guys that you guys are interviewing, and it's just a blast. It's always fun to be play baseball with your best buddies.
The North All-Stars, representing northern Minnesota, won the tournament for a 2nd straight year, defeating Metro East in the championship game. Having a plan is always a good idea, right? Even when it comes to fishing. Terry Tuma explains in this week's CCX Fishing Tip.
I just recently asked someone at a public access, what are you fishing for? They said, whatever bites. We should really avoid doing that. And I'll just give you some adjustments that I personally make going to the lake I'm going to be fishing or river system, and also where to start, what to do. First of all, I'll pick out the species and then pre-rig the rods accordingly to that species. Very, very important. And take more than one rod, take several rods with you. Now you're going to avoid wasted time trying to figure out what I should tie on next. Then number two, once that boat is launched on the water, then go to those selected spots, according to the weather conditions, the structure, cover, water temperatures are all factored, even fishing pressure. And then go to those specific spots and spend about 15 to 30 minutes, something in that area. And then you'll keep on moving. Do not get locked into one location, one lure. That's going to really be a negative for you. Once that boat is back up on the trailer and I'm going home, or if it's still a cabin or wherever it may be, then I'll ask myself, did I make the right decision? Should have I done something different? And then by doing this, we become more experienced and more knowledgeable. And I'll even take and write some notes about what I learned today. We always should be learning something on any body of water, no matter what species we are fishing for.
Thanks, Terry. That's all for sports. More news after this. Find more prep sports games and highlights at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.